We'll call to order this Thursday, January the 28th, City Council Legislative Work Session of the City of Douglasville. At this time, we'll have our invocation done by our Chief of Police, Chief Gary Sparks. So he isn't here. Oh, okay.
He intentionally did that.
We had spirited discussion in our work session, so. Sorry about that, Chief. I didn't know you weren't over there. That's okay. So our invocation by the Chief of Police, Chief Gary Sparks, and then the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey.
Let us stand, please. Dear Father, I want to thank you for this day, for blessing us down to this hour. And as the mayor, council, as we serve this city of Douglasville, we just pray that they serve with integrity and character. We just pray that they come together on hard decision and look to you for guidance and help. And again, I want to thank you, Father, for allowing me to serve our citizens as well, a great community and a great country. So these are another blessing. We ask in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Before we get started, I just need to make a few simple procedures. Please put your cell phones in the silent mode and keep your conversations to a minimum so that we can hear the deliberations tonight. No loud outburst or booing, no clapping unless initiated by the mayor and council if we have someone to honor. If you'd like to give comments during this meeting, you will need to first fill out a form out on the desk, a citizen comment form, which will be found out on that desk. You can please put your name and address, and when you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record so that we can give that information to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker. All comments will be received on that form. Before giving that, give your name and address, and we thank you again for coming this evening, and we look forward to the information that we're going to provide. So at this time, I will ask that the Public Safety Committee will come forward, and that is Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Larry Yockey.
Yes, I have, believe 3 items here. A request for permit for outdoor pouring of alcohol beverages for a special event at the following establishment. Licensee is the English Country House Group Incorporated, doing business as the Irish Bread Pub and Restaurant. And the location is at 6682 Broad Street, O'Neill Plaza. The event is St. Patrick's Day, and it's a 3-day event. It's called the St. Patrick's 3-Day Community Festival. The dates and the time of the event are March 11th, 2016, from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m., March 12th, 2016, from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m., and then March 17th, 2016, from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. The agent outlet manager is Neil Jenkins, and the required fees have been paid into the city finance department. Neil, would you like to come forward?
Neil Jenkins, owner of the Irish Bread Pub, 6682 East Broad Street. Happy New Year to everyone. Sorry it's a bit belated. This will be the 8th year we've done this, so for many of the council, you've probably seen and listened and got bored with me before asking for the same event request. For those that are new to the council, this is probably the biggest event for us in the year. We like to, depending on the day it falls on, we tend to do days beforehand. We like to maximize the community's enjoyment of it. Some people prefer to come on the quieter days before the 17th, which can be a little bit chaotic at times in the number of people. So we do events the prior weekend before the 17th, and as you mentioned, we'd like to start on Friday the 11th of March. I think you may have received a map of what we are proposing in terms of having an enclosed gated area. And as always, our full menu, food, and any alcoholic beverages are only available within that gated area. We have already spoken to Major J.R. Davidson at the police department in terms of requesting the sufficient police officers to work the event, in addition to our own security. And again, first and foremost, public safety is our number one priority, and making sure that everyone is behaving properly, making sure it is a family event, because that is what Douglasville is all about, and to ensure that the event goes smoothly. One addition we have made since we submitted this paperwork, and I discussed this with Major Davidson, was the possibility of a rain date. And we added that being Sunday the 13th. So if for any reason in history we've tended, looking back in past years, we've occasionally lost one of the three, if not two of the 3 days, due to unreliable weather in March. If that's the case, if we do lose March the 11th or March the 12th, then we would like to have Sunday, March the 13th as an alternative date. We won't ask for a rain day after the 17th, because St. Patrick's is a little bit like Halloween. Once it's over with. So that's the only additional information that we would like council to consider. If you have any of the other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but otherwise it's very much the same as the years gone by and how we will manage the event.
Okay, so this being the 11th and the 12th, I don't have my calendar up in front of me.
Friday, Saturday.
That's a Friday, Saturday, and then it jumps all the way to the 17th? Then?
Yeah, we tend to do things inside, because we're asking for an outdoor permit on, it's usually the weekend before every year, obviously, depending on when the 17th falls, how close it is to a weekend. Thursday's obviously as far away as it could possibly be. So, for example, like in Atlanta, their St. Patrick's Parade is on the 12th, the Saturday. So most people are used to celebrating St. Pat's the weekend before the 17th, whenever that day falls on the 17th. And then we are doing a week long of activities, but on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in between that, everything is inside within our premises and not on the gate. We're not asking for an outdoor pouring permit on those days.
Okay. And where are the actual fences going to go?
As before, I'm not sure if you can actually see this, and this is not the copy I submitted, but the copy I submitted shows if this is our restaurant, then basically it just goes around the stepped area in previous years, and only inside there will be allowed to have enjoy our full menu.
Okay, like right in front of the stage?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Are there any questions from the City Council?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
as you said, you've done this 8 years. In fact, you've had several other events on O'Neill Plaza as well. I would say it's a safe bet that you know what you're doing. You know what the city expects. You've got a great relationship with the police department. I'm glad to see this continuing.
Thank you. Yes, every year that there was always something that might come up a little bit new that you learn from, so we're not perfect, but absolutely I think the relationship we have with the police department and the new chief as well, hopefully, we've always, it's been a partnership, and whatever we do on the plazas, that's how we want to proceed from now on.
Anything else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Is it green ale, Neil?
It's actually, I wish it was, but actually it's more like green Bud Light, which I'm not a fan of, but that seems to be the favourite drink on that day would be the Bud Light. So, but I'm not sure if the ale and the green go too well together.
Very good. Any other questions?
And the 13th will be submitted for the agenda item to be voted on. We will add an additional date then for a rain day. Okay.
Okay.
Can I just add one last thing? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's unusual to have my name as the AOM. I've actually asked, it's like deja vu. This time last year, we had a change of general manager, and Mia Birtwistle was my general manager and AOM. She has moved on for her personal reasons, and we wish her all the very, very best. This lady next to me is Brittany Wyatt. She has worked with us for about a year under myself and also Mia Birtwistle. Just want to give you a heads up that next month, you'll be seeing Brittany again because we've just submitted the application for a change of AOM.
Okay.
And so you'll be seeing Brittany and you can fire questions at her next month when that paperwork and she'll be back.
I think she can handle it.
Definitely.
Just a little.
So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Jenkins, the manager that be in charge the whole weekend, she's experienced?
I'm sorry?
The manager that be in charge that whole weekend of St. Patrick, Is she experienced?
Absolutely. I mean, in addition to Brittany, who's been with me for a year, of course, I will be here for the whole month of March, and my other managers in place who have been with me for between 5 and 6 years, they are still the same.
And they can handle the crowd?
Absolutely.
Chief, you got anything?
No, I looked over the plan and there's nothing unusual. I think we did drop one officer that we've been using 4, but he reconstructed the boundary line, so we good to go.
Yeah, there was one year where we actually tried an experiment. I think it was like 3 years ago where we closed the whole plaza between Church Street and Broad Street. Where there was no gated area. And at that time we had 4 officers by the mayor's and council's request. It just gets a little bit, it's hard to walk through with that number of people, and we just thought for safety and much more easy to manage, let's go back to the original plan. And so the last 2 years we've gone back with the gated area, and that's where 2 officers has been proved more than sufficient.
Very good. Okay, any other questions from the council? If not, we'll see you back here on Monday.
All right, I won't be here myself, but
Okay.
Brittany will be.
Brittany?
But I will look forward to
We'll watch out for Brittany then.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I have another item here. Request the change in agent outlet manager from the alcoholic beverage license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverages at the following establishment. Licensee is Public Supermarkets Incorporated, doing business as Public Supermarkets Incorporated, number 485, located at 3316 Highway 5. Current agent outlet manager is Tina M. Maddox, and the proposed agent outlet manager is David Lenners. Okay. The required fees have been paid into the city finance department. David, could you come forward then?
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm a store manager at the Publix, store 485 up here on Highway 5, and I'm requesting to have a change in the outlet manager from Tina Maddox. She was the previous store manager. I have replaced her.
Okay. And your name, just before, just your name and your address for the record.
David Leonards, Public Supermarkets, 3316 Highway 5.
Very good. So you're going to be the new manager over there?
Yes.
All right, very good. I guess you know all about the requirements for having to sell malt liquor and wine.
Yes, sir.
And now, is this controlled at the cash register?
That is correct.
Okay. And how long have you been a manager?
I've been a store manager for 8 years. I've been in management for 12 years.
Very good. Okay. Are you a resident of the city?
Actually, no, Paulding County.
Paulding County.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council? Mayor?
No, sir, that's my place where I shop, so
Good, I'm
look
glad to hear
forward to
that.
seeing
Thank
you.
you. Yes, thank you.
Very good. Come back on Monday and we'll give you an answer.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Okay, I have one more. Request for change in agent outlet manager and transfer the alcoholic beverage licensee for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverages at the following establishment. Current licensee is Hassan Oil and Enterprises Incorporated. Proposed licensee is RJ Oil Incorporated, doing business as Shell Food Mart. And the location is 6450 Church Street. Current outlet manager is Hassan T. Khan, and proposed outlet manager is Shunir. There you go. And the required fees have been paid to the city department. And your name and address for the record, please.
I applied for beer and wine license for Shell Food Mart on 6450 Church Street.
And how long have you been a manager? Do you?
Since 2003.
Okay, so you know exactly what to do when someone that's less than 21 comes to your facility? Okay. Does that come up on the register when they sell liquor, or when you sell wine, or how does that work?
They come in register and I check their ID. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Any questions from the council?
So they check everyone's ID
Everyone?
as soon as they want to purchase.
When it comes up on the register. Okay.
Did Hero just leave you in here all by yourself? Did he leave you in here? Oh, there he is. Okay, I couldn't see him for the podium. Okay. I'm very familiar with his store. They do a good job for Douglasville.
Very good. Any other questions? You come back on Monday and we'll give you an answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that is all I have tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Now we go to item 7. I apologize, 6, which is Community and Economic Development Committee, and that will be the chairman, Councilman Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Under Community and Economic Development, we have 3 items tonight. We have item tabled from January 19th, 2016, 21-16-02, to authorize the mayor to sign a development agreement with Blake Communities VP2-GA LLC regarding development of the Gateway Village subdivision. Phil, how do we want to handle that?
You may want to hear from the requester.
Okay. Do you have anything prior to that, Ms. Hampton?
No, sir.
Mr. Joe Fowler is with us. Mr. Fowler, we'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Joe Fowler, P.O. Box 489, Douglasville. I represent Brad Willoughby, who is here with us tonight. We've heard about this document for some time. It's a development agreement to bring back to life, so to speak, the Gateway Village subdivision. Has no houses yet. It deals with Phase 1 only. And what we had proposed and had been talking about with the city for 6 weeks or thereabouts was a development agreement that would permit the buyer of the lots, Blake Communities, to proceed with the construction of houses there, post a bond for the streets and sidewalks that cover the public areas only. All the other sidewalks would be constructed by the builders as they build from house to house. As it concerns the amenities, the provision that was ultimately the topic of discussion at a meeting a week ago today with part of the staff and Mr. Adams dealt with the construction of amenities on a phased basis so that by the time the building permit was requested for the 25th home in Gateway Village, there'd be the walking trail, natural area, play field, and play structures. It would be completed before they got the 25th building permit. And before they got the 50th building permit, they would had to have completed the pool and cabana. There is a preliminary outline. There's only a preliminary plat. You don't have a final yet. That was part of the package that you have before you, and you can see where the proposed amenity areas are. I also provided the quote for the road areas. You'll see that. We don't have the final quote on the sidewalks yet. And I have it on the tip of my tongue. It's several $1,000s, not more than $10,000, but that will be added to it. And by the time the city ultimately, if you approve this, would sign it, we'll have that number, and that will be inserted on page 2. This is bringing back to life a subdivision that is part of the gateway to Douglas County when you come in from Paulding. And the proposal that was approved as a part of a rezoning, I think, in 2005. It then went to sleep after that, unfortunately, because of the market, and we believe this is an appropriate way to bring it back to life to provide additional housing on the north side by a quality developer. We have tried to address all the concerns that were raised by staff, some of which may have been communicated by some of you. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have, but we would appreciate your favorable consideration of this on Monday.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. I want you to clarify one thing for me. You made a statement about the sidewalks being done by the builders at the times that they built the houses, but you also mentioned a financial figure that you would provide us with at a later time. Make sure that you differentiate that, because I don't know that the council understands. We haven't necessarily seen a finished product of the plat to make sure that they understand there are a lot of sidewalks prior to even getting to any homes.
Well, that explains it.
And that's what that covers. Is that correct?
That is exactly right. I believe it's 1,680 feet of sidewalks that have to be constructed before you ever start getting to the houses. And if you look at the drawing that you have, you'll notice, in fact, you've driven by for years now, and you've seen that long, empty street that leads to nowhere. Well, it does lead to somewhere. It's the subdivision that's about to come back to life. But there'll be a sidewalk along all of that on the cul-de-sac that you see there that is really in the nature of a roundabout. It goes to the left a bit, fronts the amenity areas, and then begins to pick up with the streets on the right. That's what the bond for sidewalks is for.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Council, this is the item that we had an extended discussion on during our 5 o'clock committee meeting. And as we discussed there, it's a little different than what the norm would be. I would assume maybe a proper way to put it, that you have phased in amenities as you have building permits. Is there any question for Mr. Fowler? This would be our opportunity.
Chairman, I apologize. I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, I really appreciate the hard work that you've done, and Mr. Fowler and the staff trying to get this information to us. And just know, Mr. Fowler, we don't take this lightly. It's been a very spirited conversation in work session, trying to do what's best for everyone involved. Of course, we want to help restart development, but we want to be fair to everyone and have some assurances that we won't have another debacle that's happened in some other communities in the city.
Well, I'll assure you that your staff has made that abundantly clear to our side of the conference table.
Yes, sir.
And
So
it
thank
was
you for
sort
your
of
hard work.
spirited on our side, but it was a good working relationship with Marcia, Susan, and Mike, and we appreciate that as well, and Jonathan as well, though he didn't contribute very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler.
Areas of concern, it's time for them to speak now, Mr. Chairman, or forever hold your peace, huh?
Yes. Any other comment?
And the other areas of the subdivision, now, is that like other phases that they're looking at then?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
This is
so
phase one only.
what I see in dark here is
Yes, sir.
what we're discussing now, and then phases 2, 3, and 4, whatever.
There's a rough preliminary. I will tell you that when you come in from the road, the rest of it goes off and to the left toward Maroney Mill.
Gotcha, okay. Thanks.
I do not remember. Brad could tell you, but I don't recall.
Could Mr. Willoughby possibly address that?
He tells me 70 acres for the entire parcel, unless you want to hear from him directly.
Ms. Hampton, would we be in order then for them to come back on Monday night for a vote, take it off the table and then vote on this item on Monday night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Fowler, we appreciate it. We look forward to that on Monday night then. Next item, authorize the mayor to sign the annual 2016 Georgia Classic Main Streets Memorandum of Understanding as furnished by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, Office of Downtown Development. Who is handling that? Mr. Lynn? Thank you, sir. Appreciate your help on that. Go forward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. What you do have before you is our annual Memorandum of Understanding that we execute on behalf of our Main Street program with DCA. This is the one that is due in 2016. It will expire December 31st of 2016. What it states is that, we will have a dedicated staff person handling the Main Street program. The city, we will fund that program. That person, it will be fully funded by the city. They will contribute their time to the Main Street activities. They will make sure that they adhere to the 4-point approach of Main Street. And they're also going to be under a board of directors. We agree to do all that. DCA agrees to provide all the trainings that we need, that sort of thing, for the Main Street program within the city. The one thing that is different this year, you will notice that it is no longer the Georgia Main Street program. It is the Georgia Classic Main Streets program. The name has changed nationally now.
Okay, nothing other than the name has changed. The agreement is basically the same then?
It is exactly the same. There's no commitment on behalf of the city other than the funding of the position and what we've been doing.
Questions from council? Comment?
Yes,
Public?
sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
The staff person, is it Ms. Patrice Williams, or who is that?
It is Miss April McCown.
April McCown, okay. Still
So
getting
that
on
staff person would remain the same?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Any other question or comment? Would it be appropriate for us to place this on the consent agenda, please? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lynn. I don't know that you want to leave. I think this next item may also apply. Authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with CBRE Incorporated for the purpose of conducting a hotel feasibility study in the downtown Douglasville area with costs not to exceed $15,250. Mr. Lynn, would you just bring that to the attention of the public and our viewing audience, please?
Yes, sir. What Mayor and Council has before you is a proposal from PKF Consulting Group on behalf of their parent company, CBRE Hotels, Inc. The proposal is to conduct a downtown hotel feasibility study within the downtown Douglasville area. This company is essentially, they are the only game in town for something like this. This is their specialty. The two data models that they would use, excuse me one second, trends in the hotel industry and hotel horizons that anyone looking at developing a hotel anywhere would use. This company developed those sites and they own them. They will be part of the proposal. The cost is $15,250. That is a maximum cost. The study itself has a price point of $14,500 and a not to exceed $750 in travel, meeting requests, materials, that sort of thing. And what the study will provide us is a document to give to anyone that wishes to develop a hotel. First thing they would ask the city is, do you have a study? This is something that we would be able to present, assuming that we do have the feasibility and the need for the hotel, which is this study will tell us. We've been a little kind of in a waiting game until we had 3 years of bookings at our conference center to be able to do this study. We have that now, so we feel that going forward to determine where we are and if there is a need for the hotel in downtown. This study will tell us that it takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks to get this hotel study back, so hopefully we could have that from middle of March at the latest to tell us where we are and what we would do. One of the great points about this study is it would actually identify sites for us. We would not have to identify any site for a potential hotel in the downtown area. They would show us where the optimal sites would be for a hotel if they are feasible.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Any comment? I know we also had a long discussion about this in committee, and are there any other questions or comments from council?
I was just going to ask, Mr. Chairman, did we include Ms. Chantel? Is she over tourism so that she can kind of, with all this information?
She's in the back of the room.
Okay, so she knows all about it, I know.
Yes, ma'am. And she will be a part of it when we actually commence the study.
And when they do the study, do they look at vacant land, or do they look at, possibility where there's a building that we own on it, or how do they?
I'm not sure. I think they will do a combination of both. I know they're going to solicit input from stakeholders as to where they think they may be, and then kind of look at the models from there. So I think they would probably do a mix of vacant land and where existing buildings are.
Okay, very good.
Anyone else? Any public comment or question? Okay, well, Monday night we will vote upon that item, and I thank you, Mr. Lynn. That's exciting.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Madam Mayor, I have nothing else under that committee, but I would request that we go into executive session after this meeting. Adjourn into executive session or recess? Adjourn into executive session for a potential litigation matter under this committee, please.
Yes,
That's all
sir.
I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 7, which is Planning and Development Committee, and that committee is also chaired by Councilman Mark Adams. If you have any items, please bring those forward.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 2 items tonight. The first, under Planning and Development, refer to the Zoning Board a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance to enact Section 3.61, regulating donation bins with a delayed effective date of August 1st, 2016, and to amend Section 2.05 to add donations to Chart 2-2 as a permitted accessory use in the commercial general district. To amend Section 3.73 to clarify provisions on number, height, spacing, base style, permitting, and fees for certain signs during an election period, and to enact Section 8.51.03 defining donation bins, and to enact Section 8.56.02 defining election period. Who would be helping us with that?
Mr. Chairman, that's on your committee's agenda for Monday evening at 5.
Okay, so we'll be discussing that again Monday at 5. We've not had any discussion about that. And then potentially we'll be up for a vote on Monday night. Okay, any question about that since we haven't had really any discussion on it yet? Okay.
Looking at the bins and the proximity and how many and all of that in the city of Douglasville, correct? Okay, those donation clothes, books, all of that.
Okay. All right, next item. Adopt an ordinance amending subsection 7.02.05 of the Development Code Ordinance regulating performance and maintenance bonds for developers. We've not had any discussion on that item. Ms. Hampton, Ms. Littlefield?
That also will come on for discussion in committees on Monday evening.
Okay. So not having had any discussion on that, I would assume we would then take that up on Monday night at 5 o'clock. Any comment or question? That's all that I have under Planning and Development, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item 8, which is Parks and Recreation Committee, and the chairman of that committee is Coach Chris Watts. Would you bring your issues forward, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have 2 items under Parks and Recreation Committee tonight. First one is authorize the mayor to sign a lease agreement with Arbor Station Homeowner Services, Inc. for the city to lease athletic fields and a parking lot for the initial term of 1 year and up to 4 annual renewal terms at a monthly rental amount of $500 plus maintenance and improvements to the fields and parking lot. I'd like to ask Mr. Oliver to come forward.
As we talked in committee meetings, we are looking to lease 2 fields that are in Arbor Station's subdivision. We'll be leasing from the Homeowners Association. Our athletic programs continue to rise, and places to practice and play are getting smaller. So this will give us 2 additional fields, and we're looking to lease this for 1 year, and we have 4-year renewals. The players that will be using this facility will probably be the 8 and under, so it will be the smaller kids because the fields are kind of small, and we will just be using this for practice, not games.
Have any other questions, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, will it be football, baseball?
It will be. We'll have it year-round, and Hunter Park Baseball will obviously use it in the spring, but in the fall, the Tiger Cubs, that will give them another option to go practice also. It doesn't have lights on it, and but that won't affect them for a couple of months. They'll be able to practice over there.
Chairman, I'd just like to publicly make it known that I'm sure Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey did have a lot to do with this as far as bringing some alternatives to us in the situation that we're in with space and with fields and so forth. And I just want to make sure that we let him know how much we appreciate making that available, in that you take a community that may not be using something that may not be of a lot of value to them at that time, and it becomes very valuable to our city, and it's in close proximity. So I'm just grateful that we're able to do that.
And it gives our fields breather too, because we've been having issues with we've got bunches of kids that want to play football and baseball, and they tear up the fields. And so this way we can really give our fields a breather and bring them back to life and use them for their games versus their practice. So this helps out a whole lot. So I appreciate that, and thank you, Councilman Adams, for the comment.
I was going to say, Chairman Watts, in addition to all of those comments, which are very positive, and I hope this doesn't come across as negative, I think in addition to that, Mr. Bennett, we have to really look at our programs and accommodate what we have to provide. Arbor Station has been gracious enough to let us use their fields, but I don't want us to get into the habit, really, of impeding upon private subdivisions to help us with our parks and recreations. We really have to look at the youth that are in our community, that are live within the city limits, and kind of work with them, and until we can provide more space. Because I just had a nightmare thinking about the other day, if someone were to get hurt over in Arbor Station, our liability issues and all of that, and we've probably taken all that into consideration. Right. But it's just a little different when they're not on city property and there's someone else and they're affiliated with the city of Douglasville. So I don't know what we can do in the future as far as trying to, we can't oversubscribe because we only have so many fields and so much space to provide for the citizens and their families that live in the city.
Sure.
I just have one question also is, when we sign this lease, does that release Arbor Station from any liability if there was an issue on the fields? Or
I would let probably Susan answer that.
Well, not necessarily, but we are going to have exclusive use of it ourselves, so anything that's there that we don't take care of is going to wind up being our liability. It will be covered by our insurance.
And if someone does get hurt over there, the homeowners association will be hold harmless.
I can insert that provision if you're asking for it. It's not necessarily to our benefit.
I don't want the association to be, if someone does get hurt, I don't want them, whoever gets hurt, go against the homeowners association. That's kind of not fair.
That's why you have to play on the city fields.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the law is, whether or not we have that provision in there, we're not able to indemnify anyone. So maybe that's the answer I have to give, is that I can write it in, but it still won't be effective.
So if someone does get hurt?
If someone gets hurt, certainly we're liable for the grounds there, and their suit would be against us, but we can't hold the the HOA harmless because cities are not authorized to do that.
But this is no different than any other field that we operate within the city. So it sounds to me like it's the same difference as if something were to occur at another park within the city, right?
Right. And then our security staff will be opening and closing the park, so anything that happens after 11 o'clock, after they pull the gate, I think that would probably be a question if the park was closed, so.
Yeah, right. And if something happens after hours, then I would think that the association would be responsible, just like they are right now, for things that happen over there with the lighting. And if we have,
I think we're talking about general liability now rather than liability between the two parties, and that's a much broader question.
okay. I think we're good.
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That was my concern as well, and also Coach Watts, is the liability. And Mr. Oliver, you mentioned the Tiger Cubs. Have you had a chance to sit down and speak with them in regards to the use of this field, or have they used the field in the past?
No, I mean, we haven't leased it, so we couldn't send them over there. We have a meeting planned about 2 months before the spring season starts for them. They usually start in July, so we'll have it probably about 2 months before that to go over this coming season and some other issues. So. Right,
because I'm not sure how large the field is at Arbor Station, and it is a good idea, of course, to the fields will have a break, but I do agree that when we're on someone else's property, and football is a really tough sport, so I just want to make sure that moving forward, that definitely the Tiger Cubs have been given, or whomever else would use this field, but also to take in consideration the wear and tear that happens on fields when you play football.
Yeah, and in the fall baseball at Hunter Park, the numbers are about half, and so we won't have to use those fields at all, but it does give the Tiger Cubs, I-9 Sports, a couple of the other people that if they need to use that field for practice, we can certainly do that. So,
I-9's been there already. We had I-9 there.
Oh, really?
Several years ago. So I-9 understands the fields over there. Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay. I'd like to move to the second item on the agenda.
Sir?
Second item is authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with the low bidder, Steve Marshall Contracting, Inc., for $54,750 to construct the pool house renovation project located at Jesse Davis Park. Mr. Oliver.
We also discussed this in committee meetings. This is kind of phase 2 in the pool renovation, and we did put it out for bid, and Steve Marshall Contracting was the low bidder. And this basically will renovate the exterior of the pool house, the 2 restrooms, and also the lifeguard room. So, and he promises that he'll be ready to go before the pool opens. So.
Chairman, Ben, when will it start on the pool?
As soon as the contract's signed, that's all he's waiting on. So you're talking about Brown's pool for the plaster. They received their check, I think, last week, and so I would say in the next 3 weeks they'll probably start.
The umbrellas been ordered?
Do what now?
The umbrellas had been ordered?
The umbrellas are here.
Okay.
Yeah, they came in probably about a month ago.
Opening is Memorial Day weekend, isn't it?
Memorial Day, right.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
I know this is the first business for Parks. I wanted to welcome the new mayor and the 2 new city council members. I can't get used to Richard not sitting in that corner right there, but
Don't do it.
And also our new city manager, so I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver. Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item 8, which is Finance Committee, and that committee is chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. Do you have any business, sir?
Yes, I have one item. It's item that has been tabled January 19th, and it's item number 24-15-27. Authorize the mayor to sign a 3-year lease with Riley's Early Learning Academy for city-owned property at 6625 Brown Street for a monthly rental amount of $1,000 with the tenant to pay utility costs, with the tenant to have a rent credited of $18,000 to be applied against the rent for the first 18 months of the new rental term, and with both parties to release any claims against the other for claims related to prior lease agreements. We're going to have, we've had discussion, and we're going to have more discussion on Monday. So unless someone wants to make a comment to this, we will discuss this more in our committee meeting on Monday. If there's no comment here, then we will, that's all I have tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item 10, which is Information Technology Committee, and that committee is chaired by Councilmember Richard Siegel. Do you have any business, sir?
I do have one item tonight, Madam Mayor. Authorize the mayor to sign a 3-year contract with Comcast Cable Communications Management, LLC, and its operating affiliates, Comcast, for voice, data, and cable services for West Pines Golf Course. I believe Ms. Knight is going to come up and fill us in on that.
Good evening. Kara Knight, City of Douglasville Communications Coordinator. Yes, we are looking to sign a 3-year agreement with Comcast to provide telephone, TV, and internet services for West Pines Golf Course. Their current situation is they have AT&T, a DSL line for their data. It's very slow, very just awful. No other way to put that. Comcast will be able to give them like 50 megabits download and 10 upload, which is tremendous speed over what they have now. Their maintenance facility will also have 25 megabits up and 10 megabits down. So what they also get improvement as well. There's some setup fees. But it's going to be overall. We'll also be able to connect them back into the city network by VPN, which will be great because they have no connection now. We did look at Verizon, but they can't offer the speeds we need, and they'll still also have to have satellite TV service for television service. It's just not cost effective. We looked at running fiber, definitely not cost effective. So when we add Comcast, we'll be saving about $232 a month going with Comcast for our services out there. So that's a pretty good savings over 3 years. Versus right now we pay $711 for all 3 of those services with AT&T and their satellite company.
So AT&T is slow, as what we're...
Yes, very slow.
I wonder why that is.
Why? Because they haven't upgraded their services out here. And they can't get services to our buildings. Or to West Pines, let's put it that way.
Oh.
Another thing that's important to point out is currently TV service at West Pines is satellite TV. Switching to Comcast allows them to get city TV out there.
Correct.
That's another good thing.
Yes.
Because AT&T does not provide that.
No, they do not.
Okay. Any further comments or questions from Mayor or Council? Any comments from the audience? And unless there's objections, I would like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday. No other business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We will move on. Thank you, Ms. Knight. I apologize. We'll move on to item 11, which is Maintenance and Sanitation Committee, and that is chaired by Councilmember Mike Miller. Do you have any business, sir?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under Maintenance and Sanitation Committee tonight.
Thank you, sir. Move on to item 12, Transportation Committee, and that is chaired by Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley. Do you have any business, ma'am?
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go on to item 13, which is Personnel and Organization Committee. That is chaired by Councilman Mike Miller. Do you have business, sir?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do. We have 3 items tonight. First, item A, approve creation of a full-time, non-exempt position for a safety coordinator, approve a job description, amend the current pay scale to include this position, and abolish the previously approved vacant position of Administrative Clerk 1 in the HR department. And we have Miss Tia Alston. I've never used your last name, I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Tia Alston, Director of Human Resources, City of Douglasville. I will give you a brief overview of this item, and we will discuss further in committees after this meeting. We have discovered a need for a safety coordinator for the Human Resources Department and the City of Douglasville as a whole. Currently, we are managing these duties within the HR department, but we feel an additional staff member would do this position a great justice, as well as the city. Some of the duties that will be required of the person in this position is to perform audits and safety inspections for the city and city buildings, conducting safety training programs, managing our loss control efforts in the major areas of workers' compensation. That's one of our big areas right now under safety that we need to wrap our arms around and maintain, and we feel that this position would be able to do that. It is currently, in our org structure, we have a vacant part-time position, and so we are asking for this position to be a full-time position, partly because the part-time person was, in essence, working full-time hours. So in order to eliminate the need for overtime and the need for the position and the duties, we are requesting that this position is approved with the job description before you and works a full-time schedule. And I will provide you more in-depth details on our lost claims and what the county, we met with the county fire department, and they gave us some recommendations that we really, really need to jump on that are outdated. So I'll provide more information on this position in committee's meeting.
Ms. Alston, I appreciate you going. We've gone over this before, and I think you've got a very conservative, feasible structure here in making this change. I thank you for that. And we'll go over this in committee's meeting on Monday as well.
Is it
Or is
after
this
this meeting?
Would you like it on Monday, sir, or are you okay with after the meeting?
I think we've gotten, unless, did the council need more information on this?
I can provide more at this time if you like, or whatever your pleasure is.
It sounds like Monday would be a better time. We scheduled
Sure.
for tonight, but we'll, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, if we've got enough information, if the council has enough information, we may be able to go through, forego that as well, so.
Yes, sir. We'll have it on Monday, scheduled for a work session to receive additional information and then vote on Monday. Is that the
Sounds good to me.
consensus?
Is that all right with the council?
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome.
Number 2 on the list, B, authorize the addition of an executive assistant position with the administration department to serve as an assistant to the city clerk and approve an amendment to the City of Douglasville's organizational chart to reflect these changes.
Yes, sir, and I promise, Mr. Chairman, I will not make it a habit of making personal changes mid-year without budget. And the only reason really for these changes are changes that are in need. When I did appointed staff evaluations, I talked to you about the clerk's office and talked to you about where I thought the needs were in the clerk's office. As I mentioned to you all, the clerk's office is a very critical position. If you look at page 196 in your information, I've included a letter from myself, including with information from Ms. Acker, our city clerk, as to what she would need assistance with, things that she's finding a hard time keeping up with just alone. I can tell you Ms. Acker works over 60 hours a week. You know, most of us work a lot of hours, but she's doing that and still not being able to maintain. And a big hurdle that we're trying to overcome in this department, where I feel like it's needed to do before budget, is open records. Within the last 18 months, we've seen an influx in open records based on the public's interest in transparency, which is great, but it also comes with a price. And of course, you know, we are held to a certain time frame and a certain deadline in how we have to get these done. And also we have to do them in a certain manner, which includes redaction, which is not something that everybody on staff has the capability of doing. So I have included from Ms. Acker, starting on page 198, just alone since October of 2015, how many open records requests we've had to respond to. So this is just the nature of the volume of work that we're having in the clerk's office, and quite frankly, I just don't see that slacking off. And we actually see it increasing specifically in the county's race for 2016 coming up. So, Ms. Acker, you have any comments? I told you you'd have to make comments.
Yes, Mayor and Council, sorry. Another area that I will definitely need help with is the records retention. You know, Ms. Stone didn't really do that because it was just too much. So if we're going to do that and keep up with everything, I need someone to help me with that because that's really another person's job and to follow all the guidelines for the state of Georgia. So I would greatly appreciate you all considering it.
So this person would handle both positions then?
In a sense, this would be another administrative role that reports to the clerk. Currently, right now, our situation is, and we've had over the course of years, where a staff person who has another role is just appointed as the deputy city clerk. Actually, I served as a deputy city clerk as the Main Street manager about 10 years ago. But I can tell you as deputy city clerk, the only thing that I did was just serve in the role when Ms. Stone was out of the office. And that's really not where we want to go. I strongly believe one of the things that you are requesting of me as city manager is try to improve operations, and you know, in certain areas, specifically in this area, part of improving operations is trying to get a handle on the things that we have not been able to do. And as Ms. Acker said, records retention is one of those. And then, of course, added to the fact that the workload is increasing, it's becoming increasingly difficult just for her to do that. And then an additional staff person that has other duties that they're doing in a different role.
For our knowledge, okay, the 48 open records request, what does that cost us?
I would probably have to give that to you on Monday if you're asking just the total cost and hours of how much time is spent with that, because of course if you look, depending on the detail of information that an individual is asking for, it can be timely. I can tell you the one that we had last week, how many pages was it? Over 2,000 pages of
2,000 emails.
2,000 emails. So it's a lot.
And we get paid how much to do that? How much does the person requesting have to pay?
The person that prepares it, the lowest paid person that prepares it, that's the rate we go by.
Statutory.
No.
Asking how much does it cost per copy?
Right.
for
Oh,
the
10
person?
cents per page.
10 cents per page.
Okay, so the person asking pays 10 cents and it takes us hours to do it.
Yes, but we do get paid for the hours minus the first 15 minutes.
Oh.
It's laid out by statute, that's very specific. If it would, Ms. Hampton, could we add this on to Monday's committee meeting, and that way we can ask some more particularized questions on the issue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other thing, anything else from the?
One thing I'd just like to point out is I have ceased my open records requests.
He didn't have any more open records.
I do appreciate your diligence and timeliness. Thank you.
Any other comments by council? Okay, we'll look forward to hearing that additional information on Monday. The final thing we have tonight, Madam Mayor, is C, to approve the reclassification of the fleet maintenance technician position to fleet maintenance manager position within the police department. Chief?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is just a reclassification. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago in the committee meeting where we have our person that's out doing the technical job now. He's actually doing a fleet maintenance manager's job. So we just trying to get him in line with what he's actually doing every day. He serves in the police department have approximately 165 vehicles, and this position is in budget. Those 165 vehicles is throughout the entire department, from patrol all the way down to special ops to undercover vehicles. So he's doing just general maintenance. And we take the vehicles out for big jobs as transmissions and things like that. But we have one guy out there.
Chief, is this going to require a difference in salary or difference in pay scale?
May get a little more in salary.
It's in the budget?
Right.
Okay.
It's budget.
Any other questions by council?
Mr. Chairman, is it Mr. McAllister?
Yes.
Anyone else? Any use to have this on for a committee meeting on Monday for additional information? Anyone? Council? Okay. That's all we have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item 14, which is Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee, and that is chaired by Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley. Do you have any business, ma'am?
No business tonight, Madam Mayor, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. Item 15, Education and Training Committee. Councilmember Samuel Davis, do you have any business, sir?
At this time, Madam Mayor, I have no business but get ready for the weekend for training.
Okay, well, that goes into other business, and I just wanted to make a brief statement. I attended training in Washington, D.C. for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I will make a report to the council. I just haven't had an opportunity to do that, but I was really excited to meet Assistant Secretary of Commerce, who was a mayor from my former city, Youngstown, in Ohio, and he said he would do a study for us and other connections. I did a national public safety ad and another ad for obesity with children. I know Councilman Miller sent something to me while I was there about education and connecting with the school system, and so I'd love for us to do some things and be partners with that as well. And then when we came back, we had Mayor's Day in Atlanta, and most of the council was able to attend. We had one council member who wasn't feeling well. We're glad you're feeling better. But in that training, they had something for the elective courses and class training schedule that goes into our retreat, Councilman Davis, that you said about. And it says here for GMA, the Georgia Municipal Association, that retreats provide an opportunity for city councils to come together apart from the regular meetings to prepare for the future. The focus may be on teamwork, goal setting, or other city concerns. Each retreat is tailored to meet the individual city's needs, and credit is given to the cities who have a facilitator by the Carl Vincent Institute of Government. Some cities have annual retreats, but credit towards the Municipal Training Institute certification program is given for a maximum of 2 retreats. So they encourage us at GMA to do retreats and for us to plan our future. We're excited about what we're going to do while we're there, taking care of getting ourselves together with conflict resolution and building ourselves as a team. So excited to do that and look forward to everyone attending. So is there any other business from the council members that we're going to bring forward?
Didn't you see somebody special in the last week or so?
Oh, I did. I met the president, President Obama of the United States of America. It was wonderful and very inspired. He talked about police chiefs, and I came back and told our chief his message, that he wanted us to make sure in our cities that if there were officers who weren't abiding by the laws, that we would first police ourselves and make sure that they don't stain the reputation of men and women who want to serve and do a great job. And so that was just a highlight of the trip. And today, actually, I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Yaki. We went to Brighton Academy, and there they have 725 students in that school. I didn't realize that in a charter school. A wait list of 405. And we spoke to the second graders about government. They've been studying mayors, council, governor, and the president. And so they had us come into that second grade class in the media center. There probably were 80 kids in there.
Yeah.
And so they have a beautiful sign. So if you see this sign in our workroom, it says something about the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. We were excited, and I want to put the council members on alert that I plan on going to schools once a month, if not once every 2 weeks, and I'll be calling on you if the school is in your ward to ask you to accompany me to just talk to those students and keep them engaged in our city government. So if you're able to go, please come with me. And a lot of the principals I've already talked with. I'm going to Chapel Hill Elementary, which is right outside of the city, and Chapel Hill Middle School in February. So I'm excited to go to the schools and speak. And I've already been at Stewart Middle School. I did their spelling bee 2 weeks ago. So when I go to another school, please, if you're available, I'd love for you to come and accompany me. All right, but yes, sir, I did meet someone special. Okay, we'll go on down. We'll have, if we have any reports from our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Chief City Assistant City Attorney, Susan Littlefield.
Yes, ma'am. If you all would please leave your computer session up for this this session during the executive session, so we still refer to it. That's all. Thank
Yes, ma'am. Our Chief of Police, Chief Gary Sparks. Yes, sir. Our City Manager, Ms. Marcia Hampton.
Yes, ma'am. For this weekend, I will ask that you come to City Hall before 5 p.m. tomorrow to pick up some packets that will be in your box. There will be for information for the weekend. Also, we will have some information for you, Councilman Siegel, as well, so you can have that information in advance if you have some questions. I did reach out to a few of you that may register with the Carl Vincent, who said she had not gotten in touch with you. If you need her phone number, I will give that to you if you have not spoken with her. Also, for travel to Banning Mills, please do not use MapQuest. It will not lead you to the location. They've already warned us, so please do not use MapQuest. I will say, well, please do not use MapQuest. It will not get you to Banning Mills. So,
But you do have directions for us.
But you do. We will have directions for you. Please read your Friday emails, even for those who might be slacking off from reading them. Please read them on Friday. I will have all of the detailed information that you will need for Saturday in there, including, again, please do not use MapQuest. It will not lead you to Banning Mills. Also, just to be clear, Mr. Chairman Miller, for personnel, you're asking that your items be on 5 o'clock discussion for committee meetings on Monday, the two that we discussed under for the safety coordinator and for the executive assistant. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. And then finally, one of the questions or requests that you had of me was your interest in making certain that as a whole, as a council, that you were made abreast of major topic items that were going on in the departments and making it a part of council meetings. So starting in February on the 15th, your first department will be communications department. So we're going to dedicate part of your committee meetings, about 30 minutes, to some topics that are going on in the departments in efforts to make certain that you all are kept abreast of what's going on in the department. So we will try not to load all of the committee meetings, both Thursday and Friday, with huge topics of long, lengthy discussion, but also to let you know what's going on internally as far as operations. And we will have one once a month. I've told them quarterly, so you can look forward to the communications department being first up at your February 15th meeting. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Madam, the City Manager. Now we will go to comments from citizens and delegates. If you have any comments before that you would like to make to the Mayor and Council, I would ask that you please come forward and give your name and address for the record and make your comments. I see a Rotary buddy. What are you doing back there? You going to make any comments, sir?
We're here with Leadership Douglas.
Come on forward. Well, come forward. Give us your name and address. I want you to. Leadership Douglas, the best class ever. The City Manager, not 2009.
2003.
2015 is the best class ever.
Give your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Ken Crawford.
Yes, sir.
And I work at Hartley Road & Fowler here in town. Currently a City of Carrollton resident, but was a longtime Douglasville City resident. I was selected to be the honor of being in Leadership Douglas for the class of 2015, best class ever. I've got two of my classmates here, and we participated in Legislative Day, and so we were taught about the city. And one of the requirements we have, but it's also been very educational, is we were required to attend a city council meeting or another similar meeting, which is good. I think all citizens should do that, because it's I don't think a lot of people know what our city government does and the hard work you guys do. So it's very informative. I've been here before, a time or two, but for legal work, but it's still good to see every now and then. And then Mr. Miller from years going past, and also Madam Mayor from Rotary. And
yes,
congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Ken.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from citizens or delegates? Okay, well, if not, do we have staff reports? Okay, without any staff reports, we will adjourn into an executive session, and we will not dismiss, but we will adjourn into an executive session to discuss litigation in the Community and Economic Development Department. So,
need a motion.
Oh, I apologize. I make a motion to adjourn. Yes,
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion that we adjourn this meeting into executive session to discuss a pending legal matter, please.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second that we will adjourn into an executive session to discuss a legal matter. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?